Hello and welcome to all of you. First of all, I'm sorry about my voice, but I wanted to do a video here. For some reason, me and my son, we both lost our voices, and now it's back. And I kind of realize how important it is to have a voice. But anyways, I think it was the flu or something. I don't know. But we're recovering. And this video, I had some people asking me if I didn't do videos anymore or something. No, I'm still gonna do videos, and they're going to get better and better, I'm sure. And but this is not a TV station with lots of people who can replace me. This is a one-woman show. Well, it's not really a show, but what I'm trying to say here is that, yes, I'm going through a period where mentally I'm okay, but physically there are some things to be done still. The 21st of March and somewhere in April, I still have to do 2 little operations on gums and bones and teeth and so on. So I think it only will be after April, maybe May, that I'm going to do more videos on a regular basis. So for those of you, I thank you so much for your patience, by the way, because that's why I'm not doing so many videos. So that's the only reason, right? Apart from that, I really wanted to do, even with half a voice, I really wanted to do a video today. Because, first of all, it's an important day for the world, I think. And it's not because I really, really love the Netherlands as a country, but I'm so optimistic about this day. It's an election day today in the Netherlands. So for those of you who are from that country, I wish you all the luck. And I hope you vote for the right ones. And we'll see what happens there. Having said that, I want to make 2 videos. One video today, hopefully a short one, otherwise having a drink. Vodka, no, it's just coffee. But maybe vodka would help. I don't know. My father used to say that if you have, flu or things like that, a good vodka, a good scotch. Anyway, I'm digressing here. I wanted to make 2 videos about the same subject, but one video about the collective and another video on a more personal level. And what I want to talk about is Pluto in Capricorn, collectively, and then on a personal level, what that means, because it's so interesting. Isn't it interesting in astrology? So this video is going to be more a bit on a collective level. So Pluto in Capricorn, we have that for a couple of years now. And if you divide all the astrological signs, Capricorn is the 10th sign. And it's the sign of structure. And it's the sign of the 10th house is the highest point of the horoscope, so to speak. And Pluto is there at the moment. So on a collective level, I mean, we see what's happening with Pluto in Capricorn. So when Capricorn is our structures, it's the bones and the teeth, for example. It is the structure of your being. And the 10th house, very strangely enough, it represents different layers. It represents mother, because they give us, these are the people who give us the first structures, aren't they? Mother. Then we have our bosses. It's also the 10th house. Government, it's the 10th house. All kind of authority figures, it's the 10th house. Our social status, our how we present ourselves towards the world. 10th house. Important events like having a baby, like getting married, the social status that changes, you see that reflected in the 10th house. And now Pluto is in there on a collective level. What is Pluto? Well, Pluto can be very positive, can be very negative. Pluto is a very difficult planet to handle. It's the last, well, you could say, it's the Pluto is the planet that is furthest away. And on its best, it's about strength, it's about authenticity, it's about truth, it's about empowerment, it's about authenticity, it's about realness, it's about standing in your power. On an elder level, so everything has got energy levels, of course. So on another level, this is really very toxic, can be very toxic energy. So that is overly controlling, manipulation, seduction, manipulation, trying to get something in spite of whatever. It is dark. It is getting under the radar. It is things that are extremely dark. It is hidden. So that's the negative side of Pluto. And we all see nowadays, of course, Pluto is so important because, and if you want to understand it more, I have his book here somewhere. If you want to understand more about this Neptune, Pluto, and all these layers, I can recommend the book of David Cammegh, God Makes His Move. I think if you look here, you can see, I'm going to get it. Because this is a very good book if you want to understand all these things on an astrological level. David Cammegh, fellow astrology, God Makes His Move. It's a really good book. And it gives you an understanding at what we are now, and what kind of age we are now, and what kind of time we are now. And this Plutonian level is a very important stage, because to understand Pluto is the following. Pluto, the negative side of Pluto, is control. And we all know, as human beings, we all know that control is needed in the world. And I'll give you but if we go too far, it becomes very toxic. I'll give you an example. Let's say you are a vet and an animal comes in, a dog comes in, and it needs to have its operation. You need to be in control. You need to be in control. You need to have some authority so that the dog keeps still. You need to examine that dog, and so on. So I'm not saying here that Pluto is wrong. On the contrary, where the Pluto is in our chart, we mostly have control in a good way, but we can also have issues, ego conflicts going on there. And we all have Pluto in our chart somewhere. But we all know that if we go too far with that control, we lose. And it destroys itself. So, for instance, if you've got a mum, if you've got a government, if you've got a boss who is too controlling towards you, what's going to happen, do you think? Exactly. At a certain stage, you're going to say no. You're going to say no, thank you. At a certain stage, Pluto will just challenge you and demand from you that you start to stand up for yourself. And in Belgium, they have an expression of keeping your legs stiff or something like that. Keeping your legs stiff, which means standing up for yourself, I suppose. So that's what Pluto wants us. It wants us to become strong, so that whether it is a mom, whether it is an authority figure, whether it is a government, whether it is whatever, that we don't let ourselves overpower and let it control us. So that is a huge lesson for the whole world. And so actually, by physics, you could say that everything that wants to control too much is going to lose. And that's what's happening in the world now. I think it will still get a bit worse with the governments trying to control people. But you see it everywhere, that people are really coming into their strengths, and you're seeing it at the lowest level and on the highest levels. I'll give you again some very practical examples because I don't want to get here too abstract. Let's start with mum. So mum is our first authority figure, and it depends on your personal chart how you are going to experience your mum. But let's say Pluto is there and or transiting there. Let's say you are a 15-year-old and you're having Pluto transiting your 10th house, because we're talking here about the 10th house, about authority figures. What could happen? It could happen that you are at that level that you are going to learn to stand up for yourself, to speak. And we can have a Plutonian mother, like I have, for instance. I'll give you an example of that. Plutonian kind of how people can see how very often negative, destructive energy this is. When I remember when I started to do astrology, I think it was the first year even, or the first 2 years, when I went seeing my mom, one of the questions that she always asked was, well, Veerle, how is work going? I said, work is going well. And when are you going to find a real job now? Ouch, you see what I mean? So she obviously, doesn't see astrology as a real job. So, but again, then you can do two things as a person. You can go into your shell again, or you can say, I have a horrible mom, and so on and so on. And you keep on, you keep on being in that state. Or you can do the other thing. You can stand in your power. You can put your legs stiff, so to speak, and you can say, and you don't, it's more a state of mind and a state of being than it is doing something courageously. It's a lot of a state of being, I think, getting into your power. I remember I just, when I really, really had enough of it, because you're enabling this person. You are enabling the authority over you. You're giving them power. They suck power out of you, but you're giving it to him. You're enabling him or her. And and actually you don't have to do a lot by being in a very strong state, but you have to go through that process. So people who've got Pluto over their 10th house, and when they are fighting with their mums, so to speak, they go through a process. They're not getting in that state in a 1, 2, 3. That's impossible, because it's a very powerful, strong state that you are in. But at a certain level, it's very much inwards. At a certain level, you will just say, look, mom, you look her in the eye and you say, this has to stop. I think what you're doing now is abusive. Period. And then you do something else. Of course, we cannot say that too. And this is so terrible when we are fighting with authorities and bosses. It's not always easy to get personal. But I think you must, otherwise it won't work. So the same with authority, and she will stop. I mean, she will stop. And not because of so much of the words that you're saying, but again, it's the energy state. It's a very calm state, and it's a very strong state. It's a bit difficult to explain, but anyways, the same. Let's talk on another level. Big corporations. Hang on there. Big corporations is also 10th house, or you're working, for instance, for a big corporation. I have a lot of clients who are going through that process because I went through the same process. Who are going through that process of living and working in an environment, in a company that only few people have the politics and are pulling the strings, and you are a nobody, so to speak. I had a dream that, and it was so weird, I think it was with, whilst Chiron was with, whilst Mercury was with Chiron or something like that. And then I had no voice. And that dream was, bear with me, this is a bit of a side part here, but bear with me because it's about these corporations. And I had a dream about boarding school. I went to boarding school, which is really, I know in other countries, like in England, for instance, it's very common, but here in Belgium, boarding school is just not done. And certainly not at the age that I went. I was 7, right? I was 7 or 8 years old, and which is, of course, way too young. But anyways, I'm getting through my traumas here. But the thing I want to say is the following. So I dreamt that I was in boarding school again, that I was that young girl again. And in boarding school, at least in the one that I was in, and we were only with 3 young kids. So can you imagine how rare it is in Belgium? And it's good because I think it's a crazy thing to do. It's not good for such young kids. But anyway, I can make a video about that, another one. But in that, it's also an institution, and that's why I try to explain it with Pluto in Capricorn, which is very institutional-like. It's an institution where when you go to pee, when you go to eat, when you go, every hour is set for you. You have no individual liberty. You are told what to do, but who you're gonna do things. It's all set up there. And I was dreaming, and that I was this little girl, and I had to pee, and I wasn't allowed. And I'm not kidding you. I mean, I was in a terrible school with nuns, and we had to pee. Let's say, for instance, at 7 o'clock, and then if you don't have to go, of course, I was in my bed at 8 o'clock. I have to pee, and you have a problem. Okay, so, but I was dreaming that. I was living it all again. I was going through all that pain again. And that was a long time ago. I mean, but I was inventive. It makes young people very survival and inventive. I'm not going to tell what I did, but it's too gross, but it was very creative. So I solved the problem. But I dreamt about that, and I woke up, and my boyfriend had brought the newspapers, and we never buy newspapers, but it was because a big corporation where I used to work before I did the astrology was on the big headlines overall the newspaper that they were, I think we are today Wednesday, yesterday, that big corporation went on a strike. I mean, that was big news because it's a corporation that is supposed to be, it's very much about keeping the appearances of we are a good corporation and all of that. And it was going on a strike. And I kid you not, this is almost psychic, but the reason why these people, blue-collar workers, went on a strike was not only because of the stress, and here it comes, was because they had to ask to their supervisor to pee. So, you can imagine, I just got like, my hair stood right when I read that. So again, that's the Pluto in the Capricorn that is trying to control everything. It's trying to control when you eat, when you pee. I mean, come on, for goodness sake. And I felt so good because I felt like, yes, when a company like that goes on a strike, it means that a lot of people are really saying, no, that's enough. And of course, other people think, because it's a company that is here in Ghent, and it is known, a company that really spoils their people on a financial level. Well, spoils, I mean, they earn good money. For being a blue-collar worker, but everyone earns good money there. I've seen all the salaries there. It's like, it's incredible. But that's the cage, the golden cage that these people are in. And that's also with the Pluto. So you're going to get into a situation where you think it is safe and it's tempting, it's seductive. It's like, look, we are going to give you the best wages. We are going to give you the best, it has an image working here. And it's that seductive state of Pluto as well. And people and I don't want to say that I pity these people or anything. No, it's their process. I've been in that process as well. Of really thinking like, I cannot get out of here. Because if I do, who's going to pay the mortgage? I was in the middle of renovations when I worked there. All these very practical life, so to speak. And these people, it must already come to that high of a level of, I'm going to control when you are going to pee, so that these people are going to wake up and say no. You see, that's the Pluto as well. It really drives you to your personal maximum of this is enough. So I worked with the unions there. I was actually an HR business partner, and I wasn't allowed to work with the unions anymore. At a certain time, I had to do something else. Pension funds, wow, very interesting, because I was a bit too honest, I suppose. My moon in Aries was actually a bit more, I was way too honest. But anyways, apart from that, these people are also going through their Plutonian process of this is enough. And it seems like you're giving up something, in this case, money, reputation, maybe a mortgage, and people say, yeah, you have to go and you have to follow your heart. And it's all easy said and done. I have a lot of planets in Earth, so I know how people can feel when they feel that responsibility for your family, for the bills that you want to pay. But there is a way out, believe me. And once you come towards that strength again, and once you don't enable these people to, it's like a lemon, they're squeezing it, and you are that lemon, and they're squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. I remember I was doing, and I'm not saying this to get pity or anything, I'm just saying this to share you my experience. I was doing 3 jobs in one. And because there were so many Virgos working there, they kind of select them. I worked at a selection as well, and we had to select the very responsible people because they keep on going. They keep on going because I have a high, they misuse the responsibility, and they know your fears. They know your fears. So in this case, these people, for a lot of people, what is the fear of being out of a job? Money. It's a financial thing. I know a lot of people would say, oh, that's a little fear. It is a fear. So, and they know damn well that that is your fear. So that's why you are enabling them, and that's why it's making it so hard. But so I'm so glad that this happened. And you get on a little bit of a higher, so unbelievable that I'm still really excited about the fact that they're on a strike. But anyway, another thing is that it's also very palpable, or you can almost touch it when it comes to governments and authorities. They also want to enable, we also want to, whether it is a company and you feel like it's your mom, the authority, it's the same. When they're going, there must be authority. Again, I have nothing against hierarchy. I have nothing against some sort of authority. But it's when it's too much, when it goes over the top and it tries to control you completely. And that's what happened with a government as well. A government is good in itself. I studied economy, and we learned there that it was the age of the Greeks, the old Greeks. A government and so on is needed. You don't want to have an anarchy, or how is it called? A little government is needed there. But when it goes over the top, I'm going to take that power away from you. Oh, you poor you. You cannot have a job. I'll give you lots of money. And all of these things. And in certain ways, it's good. I know in certain ways it is good. but they overdo it. They're taking all your power away. I don't know how it is in other countries, but here in Belgium, to start up your own business, you need to have a postgraduate university degree to understand all their laws. It's really, you see what I mean? They're trying to every individuality, every creativity, they kind of cut it out. And you become creative when you're under stress. I know it's not always positive, but become more creative when you are free and when you want to free yourself up. So, and it's very obvious that all over the world, people are standing up for and taking back their Pluto, taking back their authority. And not in a way that, I don't want to say that individuality is fantastic, 100%, no. I mean, we see it now with Uranus in Aries and Jupiter in Libra. We need other people. We need other people as well. But we need to stand up if we enable. So this video, I'll make another one on a personal level as well, as soon as I can. But ask yourself, is there a mom? Is there a boss? Is there another authority figure? Is there maybe a corporation that you're working in and you recognize this? First of all, see it. See it. Ask yourself the question, where is it that I enable other people, other institutions, where I enable my power? I mean, you're not a 7-year-old like I was at boarding school. You're an adult, hopefully. 7-year-olds are not watching these videos. You're an adult. You have power, way more power than you think you have. You really do. So, yes, and interesting times are coming because Jupiter is going to square up again to Pluto. So especially the Sagittarius rising people and the Pisces rising people will feel some sort of transformation. But we all have it in our chart where Jupiter clashes with Pluto and it's demanding of us. So we are in a very interesting period of times with lots of retrogrades going on at the moment. Very interesting to stand still, to think about worth. You know, Venus retrograde. Mercury is going to get retrograde very soon in Taurus, again the sign of worth. So think about your worth. It's a good time for that. And with holding your legs stiff, I don't mean to be stubborn just because to be stubborn. I mean in really situation where you need to be. So I hope that you take your Pluto back there, whatever it is on a collective. I'm going to finish up my coffee, have some breakfast. And thank you so much for keep on watching my videos, for keeping having the patience with me, because I know you need some patience now. But I'm very hopeful for the future, actually. And I hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.